Amen Thompson is the craziest athlete I've seen in terms of prospects in person, but his game is about way more than athleticism. He has a combination of skill and intangibles that give him one of the highest ceilings in the class. I know people have questions about Amen Thompson and the OTE program in general, but I'm very high on Amen Thompson as a prospect. I actually have him slightly ahead of Brandon Miller for that number 3 spot on my board as of right now. And I also think Amen is one of the 3 players in this draft that have legit franchise player upside alongside Victor and Scoot. I understand some of the questions people have about Amen, and I do believe that his swing factors are the most important among the top 3 to 5 guys in this class, but I also think some of it is a bit overblown. In today's video, I'll be going over my projections for Amen Thompson in terms of his rookie season and potential peak. If you want to see my projections for Victor Wembanyama, Scoot Henderson, and Brandon Miller, I'll put a link to the playlist with those videos in the description below and pinned comment. Anyways, let's get into it. Amen Thompson is a 6'6", 215-pound guard wing with a 7-foot wingspan. I've said it many times before, but his athleticism reminds me of Akame from Akame Ga Kill. He moves a lot more like an anime character than any basketball player I've ever seen. He's quick and twitchy, he has unreal burst with his first step, he has unmatched vertical pop and range, great hang time, he's really fast with and without the basketball in his hands, he has great body control and flexibility, but it's also about more than just his athleticism. He's a gifted playmaker, he's a high field player in that regard, he's really creative, he has elite vision, he utilizes athleticism and playmaking to do things that nobody else that plays the sport can do as a passer. He has a legit primary upside, which is insane for someone that tall with that level of athleticism. He has a ton of slashing ability, he attacks the basket well, he uses his physical tools to his advantage, he draws contact well. On top of that, he has high defensive upside, good feel, unreal ground coverage, active hands, plays passing lanes, can block shots, although I wouldn't say it's quite on the level of his twin brother Asar. So the upside is very intriguing in terms of playmaking, rim pressure, and defense. Now he does need to work on some things. He's not a good shooter, didn't shoot well from 3 or from the line, and the form does need work. I know people are making a big deal about the Blazers workout video where he was taking a bunch of jumpers, and the form did look broken. But the process of fixing your form does take a lot of time. It's not an overnight fix. It is a concern that he isn't a good shooter because he is a guard wing type of player. He will need to improve as one. But I don't think it's a Ben Simmons situation where he refuses to shoot the basketball. He is a willing shooter. I do think it's clear he's aware of the fact he needs to improve in this area. I do think he will put in the work to improve. I don't think it's a guarantee that he will improve as a shooter, nothing's a guarantee, but I think his work ethic, motor, and willingness to shoot are encouraging enough. Plus, I think what he is great at is just too good to pass up on regardless. I also think he could work a bit on his handle, although I don't think that's a major concern. He has a functional handle, I wouldn't say it's bad. It does allow him to handle primary reps in primary situations, but he could tighten it up a little bit. There is a major area that Amen needs to improve on to reach the ceiling that I believe he has, but I also think his athleticism, skill, intangibles, and feel give him a high floor and one that's higher than he's given credit for. In terms of rookie projections, I think Amen Thompson can put up around 13.2 points per game, 6.7 rebounds per game, and 7.1 assists per game on 44.6, 27.1, 67.2 shooting splits. I do think of the guys I've made this type of video about so far, Amen is the one of the 4 so far where the rookie number projections are subject to change the most based off where he gets picked. I do think he's likely a top 5 lock, and I don't see him falling past 6 to Orlando. If he ends up on Houston or a Damian Lillard-less Portland team, I do think these are numbers that you could expect to see from Amen as a rookie, due to the fact to be the best playmaker on the roster, or at the very least best playmaking guard wing on the roster with those 2 teams. but I could see a situation where he averages less than 10 points per game and is closer to around 8 points per game, 5 rebounds per game, 6 assists per game if he ends up on, the Detroit Pistons or the Orlando Magic. He's gonna have nights where the shot isn't pretty, the shooting splits won't look great all the time, but I do think while teams will dare him to shoot, and a decent amount of teams are going to be able to handle his rim pressure early on, I do think there are going to be teams that just won't be able to match his athleticism attacking the basket as a rookie. So it's going to be up and down for the most part, but the signs of potential and why he's likely going to be worth a top 5 pick will be there, even if he ends up in a situation where he won't put up the biggest numbers in the world. On top of that, his athleticism and cutting make him a great off-ball threat in transition and off the gravity of others. Now, in terms of potential peak projections, I could see Amen putting up around 20.4 points per game, 9.7 rebounds per game, and 9.8 assists per game on 48.9, 32.5, 75.9 shooting splits on top of all defense level play. I do think this is a player that has potential to be All-NBA candidate year in and year out, maybe sneak into some MVP conversations, and this projection is based around the idea of Thompson getting to a baseline average shooting level. I don't think Amen will ever be a great shooter. It's not like he's going to be Steph Curry or Damian Lillard. If he does become that, I'm saying this right now, and this is with Victor Wembanyama being this class, if he reaches Damian Lillard, Steph Curry levels of shooting, he's the best player in this draft. Like, even with the 7'5" alien being in this class, if a man becomes that level of shooter, he's the best player in this class, and might have an argument for best player in the world. That's how special the other things are with him. However, I don't think that's realistic at all. I think it's much more realistic to believe the high-end shooting outcome with Amen Thompson is the guy that's respectable enough. Like a guy that will hurt you if you go under the screen, because you'd much rather deal with him as a shooter than deal with him as a slasher, because he's just going to be that good of a slasher. I think the level that he could reach high-end wise is keeping a defense honest. It's not a guarantee that he reaches that level. Only time will tell with these things. But based off what I've heard from people I trust, he has a great work ethic and wants to improve on areas he needs to work on. It's clear that he wants to be great as a player, and peak projections are based off the idea that development goes right. And I do think this is what a man could be if he develops properly. A guy that flirts with triple-double status, a guy that is a great defender, a guy that's a capable scorer, even if he isn't the number one scoring option, which is why I really like him in Houston with Jalen Green. So that's what I think he can be. He may never be a big-time scorer, but I think he can be a good one because of the physical tools that he has as a slasher and if he grows as a shooter. Again, this isn't a guarantee that he reaches this outcome, but I do think that there is a chance he reaches this outcome. It's not far-fetched to believe that he could reach this level of play based off his talent, and that would be worth a top 3 pick in this draft. I understand the concerns with Amen Thompson. When you see that form, when you see those shooting numbers, it can be scary. I totally get that, but for me, he's just too special in the other areas of the game to not take a chance on him. I think the other skills are just that good, to the point where to act like he's a boomer bust prospect would be false. His intangibles and feel are just too high to believe he doesn't have a relatively high floor. At the very least, you could be getting a rotation piece wing that brings value as a backup playmaker and strong defender. At the very best, you could be getting one of the, if not the best two-way playmaker in basketball. A philosophy I always hold when evaluating prospects is you bet on those who have things you just can't teach. And Amen has a laundry list of physical tools, skills, and intangibles you just can't teach. You can't teach his athleticism. You can't teach his playmaking tools and feel. You can't teach his motive. Those are things you either have or you don't. I do believe the shooting ability is the biggest swing factor for his potential outcomes, and only time will tell if he improves as a shooter. But at the end of the day, Amen Thompson has too many gifts that just don't grow on trees. He has too many tools and intangibles you just can't teach, and I'm willing to bet on the 6'6", long-armed, generational athlete with legit primary upside and all defense potential. But that's the end of this video. If you made it to this point, thank you so much. Again, haven't already, like, subscribe, hit notification bell, I'm notified whenever I release a video. I'm making videos about basketball all the time, so if that interests you, really think you enjoy this channel. Like and subscribing, the two best ways you can help me out, so videos, things really appreciate it because it helps me on the YouTube algorithm, helps for people find my videos, so in turn, helps the channel grow, so I can make more content for you guys in the future. Let's try to get 100 likes on this video so YouTube will recommend it to others. Let me know what you think about Amen Thompson in the comment section below. With that being said, have a nice day, and I'll see you guys in the next one.